Hi, Alan Cox here. Today I want to talk about user-reported messages inside of Outlook. Now we can do this inside of Teams for inappropriate messages as well as Viva Engage. But today I want to focus on user-reported messages that are a security in nature, security threat. So phishing, email. We've trained our users right. We've taught them to identify some indicators that might suggest a message is a phishing attack. But then, how do we configure the report mechanism? Who does that go to? How does it get analyzed and all of that? That's what we're going to talk about today, user reported messages, specifically with a focus on security messages. That's what we're going to talk about. So let's get started. All right, just so we're clear what we're talking about here, I'm going to take a look at this email here. Now I'm using Nestor's persona here, and we've got an email here that was from Alex Wilbur, and we can notice that um, this even though the display name is correct, we can see that this is externals, all kinds of red flags here. But we're gonna take a look at this. But what we're talking about here is this report button here, right, where we can report phishing or report junk, right? Okay, so we're gonna take a look at that and how does that get configured. But not only that, we can also do that inside. If we look at Microsoft Teams here, we'll just jump over to Teams. We're gonna talk about kind of both of these a little bit, but we're gonna focus on the Outlook button here. But let's just talk about Teams. If I right click here, once it's turned on and I say report this message, and we can see that examples of security risk, blah, 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 and we can see the message here, and this is a security risk, and I can go and report that. Okay. Now, I'm going to jump over to one of my admins here, and I'm going to use Megan. So here's Megan, and so she's got some mail here, but we're going to take a look at, first of all, let's go to Teams. Let's talk about just turning this on, the inside of Teams that we saw that user reported messages. I'm going to show you where this is here. So we're going to go here under, what are we going to do? We're going to go under show all. Let's do that because we're going to go to messages. We're going to go to messaging policies. And then from there, we're going to go, in this case, we're going to do org-wide policy. Now, you can separate policies and create different policies for different groups. That's fine. And what we see here is report a security concern, and this is turned on. If we were to turn this off, then essentially this option here would go away in a relatively short period of time, but we're not going to do that. We're going to leave it on. So we're going to leave it on. We're just going to cancel that setting there. Okay, so that's, and by the way, we can do through communication compliance, we can do inappropriate content. That's a little different. We're focusing mostly on the security side, where we can do this, report this as a security concern, both in Teams as well as Outlook. And that's what we're talking about today. So let's talk about where we set this up. So we're going to go to defender.microsoft.com or security.microsoft.com, which ultimately, if we go to Defender, it's going to take us over to security. But from there, we're going to go down to actions and submissions, and we go to submissions here, and we'll spend a little bit of time over here in this user reported section here in a minute. But first, we need to set a couple things up. So first of all, I'm going to set up this user reported messages, and we're going to go and we're going to configure this here. We can see that monitor reported messages in Outlook. Now, if we were to turn this off, then essentially that capability would go away. In fact, that button likely would then disappear as well. However, we can go here and we can go and report that. So we're going to put that in there. We're going to leave that the way it is. We're using the built-in report button. Now, if we have a third party, we can do a non-Microsoft add-in button. So we can say, no, we're not using the report button. That's built in, that's native. We're going to use a third-party product. I don't know why you would, but Maybe there is a reason, but in this case, we're focusing on the default built-in button in Outlook. So I'm going to ask the user to confirm reporting when a user reports an email. We could do a success message, and we can add customized message. We could look at this message here. Okay, report phishing, different types of report. We can customize that message. That's fine. We'll leave that there. In Teams, we're monitoring reported teams. So basically, when this gets reported back in a Teams message, we're also monitoring that inside of Defender. We'll look at that in a minute. Now, report item destinations. You have a few options here. So we have Microsoft only, or My Reporting Mailbox only. So we'll talk about that in a minute, or Microsoft and My Reporting Mailbox. So basically what this means is if we say Microsoft only or Microsoft and My Reporting Mailbox, then essentially the message is going to get delivered to the dashboard here inside of Defender. We'll look at that in a minute. It's going to get there, but then it's going to it's essentially Microsoft is going to analyze that message to determine if there's a threat. If not, then somebody on the security team would be responsible for actually doing the analytics of that message. But we're going to do, I typically will do Microsoft and My Reporting Mailbox. Now, on this reporting mailbox, there is I'm gonna add a mailbox here, and there is a requirement that the mailbox should be a SecOps mailbox, and that is so that it will bypass filtering. And it's going to ask us this. So if we go, what I would generally do is I would create a mailbox for this, like just a mailbox dedicated for these, and then enable that as a SecOps mailbox. But in the meantime, I'm just going to say Megan Bowen here is going to be that that mailbox here, and then specify the from address. We'll just use Megan as well. But again, I would use a mailbox dedicated to this. I just would do that, and so. All right. Okay. And so, just reading any notes here that we may need to focus on. Okay, fine. So we can replace logo and all of that. So we've basically configured this. There's not much to it, really. So we're going to go ahead and set this here. Now, if you have a mailbox and you want to make sure that, because the documentation will tell you that you should have a SecOps mailbox. I even think let's go into the documentation real quick here, and I believe it will mention this. Okay, that's other reporting tools. Let's see if we. There we go. I missed it. Identify the reporting mailbox as a SecOps mailbox. Okay, and then there's some instructions here, but I'm going to walk you through those instructions. And that's just so that it bypasses filtering and all that, doesn't get caught up in all that. So where we do that is we go down here to email and collaboration. We're going to go down to policies and rules. We're going to go to threat policies. And from there, we're going to go to advanced delivery. And then we're going to say the SecOps mailbox. Okay. And I've already designated Megan Bowen as a SecOps mailbox, but essentially we'd go in and edit, and we would determine what mailbox would be the SecOps mailbox. I do have a user reported messages here, which is kind of a shared mailbox. I actually like that idea, and that's what I would do. But for now, we're just going to keep Megan Bowen. But I would use a dedicated mailbox for that. Okay, so we basically have our policy intact. So if here we are with Nestor now. Now, if Nestor wants to go out and he wants to report this message, he'll see this security message here. So we're going to do this in Teams. I said we're going to focus on Outlook, and we will. But here is the message that was sent, so that's good. So we're going to see that. Now he also wants to report something in Outlook that looks really suspicious, and that is this message here from Alex Wilbur. And so he's got this message highlighted here, and he's going to go and just click report, and we're going to say reporting phishing scams helps keep you and other people safe. Yes, that's fine. Let's report it, and then report it. Now I'm going to go to Megan. Megan's my admin, and Megan's going to go into this actions and submissions, and she's going to go into user reported. And then we're going to see some, I'm going to refresh here. Okay, so there's a Teams message here. Let's click on this. We can mark no threats found. Okay. All right. No threats found, and the users who report them have been notified. Let's just check into that. That's a Teams one. I would really want to focus on this email one, but it takes it a little bit of time to do that, and we'll give it just a little bit of time, and if we don't get there, we can show you the end result. So let's go. I'm gonna see. Oh, did I go there? It may take some time for him to actually be notified of the message. So, all right. So we'll give that a second, but also I do want to check back here. I want to check back here and see if this is still being analyzed, and it is. We're going to refresh this. It just takes a little bit of time. Now, this is under automation, and so this is pretty much because Microsoft is doing the analytics here. It will deliver to the mailbox. In fact, if I were to go to Megan's mailbox, we'll say that she should actually get, let me refresh this. Yeah. So she has, it's in her mailbox that this request, okay, wants to look at it. And so if you want such reports to go to Microsoft directly, you can change the reporting message destination from the setting, but it's going to both, remember. And so we're gonna take a look and see if this has responded, because if it hasn't, we might be able to escalate or kind of expedite this. Still being analyzed. I'm going to try something here. So what would happen is normally this message would either show the results of threat found or not, and it will show up. Okay, so here's the Teams one. Okay, the message that you reported, that was a Teams one, and again, you can customize all of that. So that's that one that we sent and said it was fine, because the other one is currently still being analyzed. Yeah, it's still being analyzed, that phishing one here. But I'm going to try to see if we can notify it quicker, because what it will look like when it comes back at relatively short period of time, it's going to look like user reported messages. It's going to look like this, or it may say, you know, was phishing, and it be all red and kind of let you know that it was not a clean email. But that's kind of how it will come back and look. But it is currently being analyzed, so it does take some time before that will finish up. But I'm going to see, mark as, let's mark this as phishing. So I've done my own investigation. Microsoft's taking a little longer. I've looked at it and I said, yeah, there's something wrong. It's Alex Wilbur, but it's coming from an external address, and so still says that it's, being analyzed. Maybe Microsoft has got it, and I can send this on to Microsoft for investigation and trigger that for deeper analysis. I'm not going to do that now. Um, and the users reported them have been notified. It's still analyzing, but that's just Microsoft doing. I marked it, or Megan did in this case, and so we're going to still being analyzed here, but it's marked as phishing. So I'm going to see if when he gets a email back, and I'm going to refresh his mailbox and see if he gets this back. What I'm going to do, because this could take a few minutes, I'm going to pause the recording, and then when I get this message back, we're going to see what that looks like when it's been marked as phishing, or when it comes back as phishing. All right, so we will be right back once we get that result email to our inbox. All right, so we just got that message back. Took about 10 minutes or so, not too bad. But anyway, we got the message, and remember, it was we had classified, or Megan had classified as phishing. Now, I'm going to go back here real quick. I'm going to refresh here and see if Microsoft's even done. It's still being analyzed, but we've determined internally, and that's why I recommend doing it both, because you can send an expedited response back by saying, yeah, this is phishing. Something's not right about this email. But you can't completely fully automate it and just have it go to Microsoft and have them do it. And then in time, they will send that message back. But basically, what it looks like is this. So we see that it's definitely a result of phishing. Um, so, so that is what that did. Now, one other thing we can do, we'll take a look, is we can go here and we can click in, we can take action on this. And so we can move or delete. We can say, hard delete the items. Hard delete will also remove associated calendar events from meeting invite emails. We can initiate investigative. We can investigate the recipient and sender, investigate the email. We'll just investigate the email. We go next here. And so we can do and kind of name this out, if you will, sort of like like you would do a case. And then, but anyway, we can just take action on these emails. And so doesn't have to just end there. In many cases, though, it is nice to have just the ability for the users um, to be able to submit those messages and then either automatically make a response to yes, it's in fact good, or no, it is a phishing email, or what have you. Then we can go in and do additional things. So we can email preview. We'll pop this up here in our security center, and here we can actually dismiss that. We can take a look at what the email actually looks like. So there's more we can do here. Okay, for this particular email. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. I encourage you to go in there and kind of dig around in there and get to know this area of Defender. But just a way we can manage and work with user reported messages. So I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.